Hey guys, welcome to the 2022 Year 8 Percentages topic test. First question is on conversions. When you're converting a percentage to either a decimal or a fraction, you divide by 100. And when you're converting back to a percentage, you multiply by 100. So first question, we start at a percentage. That means that we divide by 100 to change it to a decimal. 7% divided by 100 is 0.07. Next up, 2.018, we multiply by 100, that's 201.8%. Question B, 35%, we divide by 100 again, and we have to make sure that we simplify the fraction. That gives us 7 over 20. And if you start with 6 over 5, you multiply by 100, that gives you 120%. Make sure that you're putting those percentage signs in when the answer is a percent. Question 2 is ordering. So firstly, we need to convert everything to percentages. So 16% already there. 6.5 we multiply by 100, so that's 650%. 0.608 we multiply by 100 again, so that's 60.8%. And 650 we multiply by 100, and that's 65,000%. Then we put them in order. 16, then 60.8, then 650, then 65,000. However, when we write our answer, we need to use the original numbers given. So it's going to be 16%, 0.608, 6.5, and 650. Question B is very similar. We do our conversions first. That gives us 31,200%, 300%, 35%, 3%, and 60%. Then you put them in order. This is descending, so we start with the largest and work our way to the smallest. But when we're writing our answer, we need to write the original numbers. So make sure that you write those original numbers there. Question 3. One quantity as a percentage of another. Make sure the units are the same first. So we have 240 grams. The next one's 3 kilos. So we're going to make that 3,000 grams. Then you just put the first quantity, 240, over the second quantity, 3,000. That's a fraction, so we need to multiply it by 100 to get our percent, which is 8%. Question 4, decrease 500 mils by 13%. So your magic starting number is always 100%. When you decrease by 13%, you have 87% left over. So we do 87% times 500, which gives us 435 mils. Question 5 is a unitary method question. It says 19% is 161.5. Is means equals, so that's what we write first. 19% equals 161.5. We then find 1%, and then we find 100%. So we divide by 19 first, and we multiply by 100. That gives us 850. Question 6 says that the medical school donated 2.5% of $97,000. Of means times, so you just do 2.5% times 97,000 and you get your answer. Question 7 says $16,850 was increased by 20%. Our magic starting number is always 100%. When you increase it by 20%, you have 120%. So we do 120% of 16,850. Remember, of means multiply, so you multiply those two together to get your answer. Question 8 says 8% of the water has evaporated. How much water is left? Evaporated means it has disappeared, it's gone. So we need to do a subtraction. Our magic starting number is 100%. If you take away 8%, you have 92% left over. So we need to do 92% of 15,625. Remember, of means multiply. And when you multiply those two together, you get your answer. Question 9 says 77 students out of 275 students managed to complete a survey. So we write that as a fraction, 77 over 275. But that's a fraction, so we need to convert it to a percentage, multiply by 100, and you get your answer, 28%. Question 10 is a little tricky, so let's read it carefully. It says Ray purchased a house for $425,000 in 2002. The house is now valued at $920,000. Calculate the percentage increase to the nearest percent. Firstly, we need to work out how much it's increased by. So we do a subtraction. The selling price take away the purchase price. So 920,000 minus 425,000, that gives us $495,000. That's the increase. Next up, to calculate the percentage increase, you do the increase amount over the purchase price. So that's 495,000 over 425,000. Once again, this is a fraction, so to change it to a percentage, you multiply by 100, and that gives you 116%. Question 11 says there are 3 different types of soft drink, 24 cans of cola, 18 cans of Sprite, and 8 cans of Fanta. What percentage of the cans was Sprite? Firstly, we need to work out how many cans there are in total. So let's do that. We do 24 plus 18 plus 8, and that gives us 50. Now we can do the percentage of Sprite, which is 18 cans of Sprite over the total. So 18 over 50, that's a fraction. So we multiply by 100, and that gives us 36%. Question 12 says that Jenny put 15% deposit on a laptop. If that amount was $285, what is the whole cost of the laptop? That means that 15% is $285. So we write that first. 15% equals 285. And then the question says, what is the whole cost? So it's after 100%. That means that we use the unitary method. So we divide by 15 first to find 1, and we multiply by 100 to find 100%. Question 13 says that a certain car was purchased and the value has increased by 23%. If the value is now $55,350, how much did you originally buy it for? So you always start at 100%. That's the original price. So that's what we need to find at the end. But it's increased by 23%. So we add it to 100, and that means right now the car is at 123%. So that's our first line. And that means that 123% is equal to 55,350. So we write that down. And because we need to find 100%, we use the unitary method. We find 1% first, so we divide by 123, and then we find 100%, so we multiply by 100. Question 14, very similar. On Boxing Day, watch station had 35% off all its watches. One of the marked watches was down to $208. So after you take 35% off, how much is left? Well, we start at 100, take away 35, that gives us 65%. That means 65% is equal to $208. So we write that down. And it says find the original price. That means we need to find 100%. Once again, we're using unitary method. So we divide by 65 first, then we multiply by 100 to get the original price of $320. That's it. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye-bye.